The link has been shared. Let's start with Fernando.
Okay. For my part, I have been working with the rewards spec test. I have written the spec documentation, but I think it is not outdated because it may reference to some functions that are pre-alter fork. So I am reading the Lighthouse implementation of the tab test and see how we can implement for the Capella. Yeah, that's for my part.
Okay, that's perfectly valid. Thank you. I also know that you have the SSZ PR for ready for review. I will definitely finish my review for them today. Sorry for the delay about those.
Yeah, thank you.
Mete is next.
Hello. On Friday, I've been a bit late, so I couldn't do much, and I had a blocker about the states part, and I addressed to Thomas A. Like we will look into it, and I'll work on that one.
Yep, I'll give you some help on that today. I'm reading some of the specs today to make sure where do we get those fields from. But we should be able to have that at least understood for today.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. The next one is Akash.
Hello guys. I was still working on the LPTP test. I was getting some gen server error, but I guess I just that we not do patch testing, do something else, some other route for testing. For now, I'll stop issue and focus on more important ones.
Okay, yeah, we'll get you some issue as soon as possible today.
Feel free to take the testing part out of that PR and merge it, and then we can start a discussion or an issue to see what we do with the test. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's good. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes sense. Ghost Power is next.
All right. Good day, everyone. I continued working on the metallization of lists. I I think I added a function next power two, and then I continued studying other implementations. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the logic behind the metallization and the different algorithms being used by different implementations. So I should make more PR. I should make updates to my PR today, and yeah, just keep updating it.
Of course, yeah. Let us know if you need any help, like understanding the specs or the implementations. We haven't dealt that much with merkleization, but we've been doing a pretty deep work with Fernando with the SSZ serialization, deserialization parts. So at least we do know like very well how the encoding and decoding parts are done. I'm not sure if that helps with merkleization because they are, of course, very different things, but maybe they're related in some ways. So if you have any questions regarding that, we may be able to help.
Yeah, I look at the code. So yeah, it's helpful, like some parts encoding and stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for the update. The next one is Martin.
Hey, also, I've been on Friday. I've been looking a little bit deeper on how Lighthouse interacts with Geth, or more in general, how execution interacts with consensus, and looking into why some of these calls are done, and also looking at some of the Lighthouse logs to see if we are missing something when we do the checkpoint sync. There was some activity related to the deposit contract, which scared me a little bit because we are not doing much in that regard, but it seemed like it's something that is needed for if you are going to propose blocks. So more on the validation side of things, that you want to read the deposit contract from the execution side to make sure you you add a deposit event to the block. But since we are not doing validation, since we don't have the validation part yet, we're fine in that regard. So yeah, I'm gonna continue with that. Like tomorrow we have like a small talk after the stand-up. I forgot to put the time, so I updated the calendar event now. And yeah, so I'm preparing a little bit more of that. And yeah, I think that's it for me.
That's great. Thank you for the update. Looking forward to the workshop. Thomas is next.
Yeah. Last Friday, I continued optimizing basically the process and the stations. I started trying to change the approach of processing the stations in a block. Instead of processing each one independently, I was gonna try to batch them, because some of the last you have to update the epoch processing flags at the end of processing as a single data station, and that usually is like changing a little, like not the whole validator set. It's just a committee that's really small compared to the set of validators. Then what I was gonna try to do was patch some of those. So instead of updating the whole validator set for only a small committee, we actually don't have to do multiple passes of the validator set. I'm gonna do some benchmarks and see if that improves the processing time. Also, I think I made some small optimizations. Nothing that improves it as much as I hope. Well, we are getting there.
Yes, some optimizations may be small, but they still stack on top of each other. So it's nice to still be receiving them, even if they're not like a 10x or something like that. So congrats on that work. That's a pretty meticulous work you're doing, and I think that it's yeah, a very interesting one. Yeah, let me. I think that I'm the only one missing for the update. I've mostly been reviewing PRs on Friday and reviewing the bit list consensus, the bit list specs. I'm doing some documentation on my side to have this in a markdown document to explain how this works in the repo, so that this is not something that we just do for this PR and then it's buried forever. The idea is to have that well documented so that we can then revisit this, and if we need to or want to, we can just make a better implementation afterwards. For instance, and especially thinking we may want to change the internal representation eventually. I think that Mega opened an issue on that. We may want to reverse lists, or we may want to represent these as integers, as Elixir already handles arbitrarily large integers. But if we want to do that, we want to have a very clear idea of how this works. But yeah, after I'm done with that, I will finish the review of of Fernando's PR so that we can merge it. So sorry, it has been a little bit delayed. I'm trying to make sure that we have this very clear. And today I will also be helping Mete with his Gen server issue. To be concrete, he's having some troubles getting the data he needs for the metadata Gen server and where to initialize it. I have some ideas of how we can do that, but I need to check a bit some of the specs on that, because I'm not fully familiar with the sections that are related to persistent, like attestation, subscriptions, and that kind of stuff. So Mega maybe will ping you a time or two on that one. And I think that's it for now. I'll try to finish those 2 or 3 things for today. And yeah, that's my update. Do we have any final comments or questions? Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Nice seeing you today, and see you all tomorrow.